Hi everyone, welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy Update. This is a very special Lionsgate reading. We are in the energetic corridor of the Lionsgate. Tomorrow the energy peaks on August 8th. We also have a universal 8 year. 2024 boils down to another 8 number. So we have 888, which is just bringing through enhanced energy as we channeled in our Lionsgate Sacred Integration Workshop on Sunday. This is just a corridor. It's just an energetically, collectively enhanced energy that we are moving through, allowing us to integrate more light codes, shift into higher timelines, and integrate higher frequencies. But we are able to move into those timelines and shift that consciousness at any time. Remember, these portals, these gateways are just enhanced energy collectively. And that's what we're experiencing now. We also just had the new moon. We are in Mercury retrograde. Remember, too, that Mercury retrograde, it gets a bad rap, but all those astrological cosmic events that happen, they're supportive energies. Consider looking at them not from a fear-mongering place. They're not meant to be any fear-mongering. It's meant to be a supportive energy. It's always how you perceive it, always how you look at it. And so for Mercury retrograde, what that actually does, especially for these sacred unions, sacred partnerships, even for your own individual ascension, it helps you to clear the past so that you can continue moving into those higher frequencies, keep moving into those, keep creating higher shifts for yourself. Like I said, we just had the Lionsgate workshop. It was a fantastic event. Thank you to all who joined the live session. The workshop replay is now available. For the workshop replays, I always include more to the package, including more sacred channelings that are relevant to the workshop and light language transmissions. We did channel a new light language transmission for the workshop that you guys said was extremely powerful and moving. I felt that as well. We brought in the Lyran energy, serving as pillars of protection, clearing out residual energy of the past, and allowing us to become empowered creators for our future. If you're interested in that, that is in our Ascension Connections portal. I'll be sharing some highlights from the workshop tomorrow, so make sure that you're staying tuned here to YouTube. But if you'd like to watch the full channeling, receive the light language transmissions, get some exercises, we shared some manifestation exercises for your own Lionsgate sacred ceremonies, as well as get other relevant sacred channelings and light language transmissions all in one package that is available on our website in our Ascension Connections portal. Okay, so while I'm doing some housekeeping, we also are making some changes. I had an announcement yesterday through our newsletter and on our social media platforms that Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections is evolving. It's always been evolving, and I'm really excited for what this next iteration of Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections and our community is going to be. So we're making some changes. I gave some sneak peeks to what those changes are. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out. I'm very excited for what is to come. We've been laying the groundwork for that. It's been something that's been on my mind and my heart for the past year. We've been laying the groundwork for that for the past 6 months, and we'll be introducing more later this month to hit the ground running in September. So I'm very excited about that as well. Okay, so I don't want to go deep into the Lionsgate energy here because I already went into that in the workshop. What that means for Ascension, what that means for you, with that individually and collectively. And we'll have some highlights in the on a YouTube video tomorrow. Profound energies. We break down what the Lionsgate is. We break down the symbolism. What does it mean? All that in the workshop replay. What I want to do today is just kind of tune into the energies of sacred unions, ascension, sacred partners, just kind of see what wants to come through. with all this energy, the new moon energy, Mercury retrograde, again, it's cosmically supporting us. It is always cosmically supporting us. But depending on where we are on our journey, especially how conscious or unconscious we are, there could be some shakeups as well. So the energy might feel very heightened, and depending on where you are and what you're working through, with regards to your inner transformation, with regards to your inner union and your personal ascension, it could be either a very kind of like euphoric energy, very joyful energy. It could feel very dense if you're bringing some of that, what I like to call soul sludge, up to the surface to be acknowledged, recognized, and released. Or it could be a mix of the two. Let me know in the comments how you guys are feeling. Let me know what you might be experiencing. Remember, don't attach to the stories. Anything that's coming up, don't attach to it. Don't cling to it. Don't hold fast to it. You are not those old stories. You are not those old emotions. Anything that's coming up, especially emotions, is just old energy that's being released. Emotions are energy that is being released. So allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to witness, allow yourself to observe it, but don't attach a story to it. Don't replay those cycles. You're breaking out of those consciousness traps. You're breaking free from those consciousness loops. And anything that's coming up is just because it's an old version of yourself that you're not carrying through in this gateway. And that's what these gateways do. These gateways clear the energy. So you're moving into a new version of yourself. Many of you might be moving into a new version of your life. You might be seeing physical manifestations. And if you're not, it's just because the energy is moving first. Everything comes as within, so without, right? So the shift happens within, and then you see your physical reality reflect that. So you might be seeing physical manifestations. You might be feeling that shift within yourself. You might be feeling some old versions of yourself come up, some old stories play out, but that's because it's old. And you can't carry the old with you into the new. And that's what these portals, that's what these gateways are for. They're shifts in consciousness, shifts in mindset, shifts in perspective, shifts in energy, allowing you to move into new timelines, allowing you to move into new life, essentially new life. That new life means, new manifestations. And what does that mean? That might mean new jobs, that might mean new financial stability, that might mean new relationships, new friendships, new healthier dynamics with your family, better communication. You're finding yourself communicating better, or new beliefs, new understandings. It's new, it's newness, right? And so that's what this is. It's a new version of you, so a new reflection, a new creation. And you're recognizing yourself as that empowered creator. That's what we had channeled in the workshop. It was a very beautiful, strong message of your sovereignty, of your recognition of your divinity, recognition of yourself. So it's interesting. We'll get to this in a second. It's interesting. I pulled out these cards from the Good Tarot deck, from this deck, because I really love the depiction of the lions in here. Lion energy being very regal, very powerful, very sovereign, right? But they're reminding me it's also a cat, very cat-like. And what are cats like? Cats can be very affectionate. They can be very soft. They can be very sweet as well. I have a ginger cat, and sometimes he could be really spicy, but he is the sweetest, most affectionate creature I have ever met. Ever. I call him Crazy Pants because he just makes me laugh so much, but he's so sweet and so affectionate. But when he's at the vet, he can be spicy. So that's like this energy, the cat-like energy, right? It's this regalness. So I had the Emperor pulled out. I had the Strength card. You have a Lion in the Strength card, obviously. And then we have in this deck the Lovers card, or called Love in this deck, also has the Lion. And you see the sweetness. It's a tenderness. It's a relaxed state of being. It's a trust, of faith. It's a comfort. With each other. And with the Strength card here, that strength is that roar. And it's interesting to me, they're drawing to my attention how I had kind of set this up. This wasn't intentional. I have the Emperor here in the middle, just to, because he seems that regal presence, that leader presence. And then the way that I put this, we have the Strength card on the left, which is usually where I put my masculine energy. And the Lover's card on the right, which is usually where I have my feminine energy with these spreads, with my setup. So it's really interesting. The way that I set this up, I was just going to do a regular, no spread, just a regular reading today, just to see what was coming through for this energy. But it's really interesting, and I feel like that's really indicative of where the energies are. Now, you can relate to the masculine energy for the inner masculine energy, or you can relate to the feminine if you're a divine feminine. Take it as it resonates for you. Don't adhere to if this is the masculine energy, it has to be a physical counterpart. This could be your inner energy. It could be to understand what's going on in the collective and the global collective. Remember to take these readings how they resonate for you, for your inner feminine and masculine energies as well. But it's really interesting, this energy. It really does feel like what I'm hearing is the phrase, where I was a coward, I'm beginning to have courage. And it's almost like they're reminding me of the Wizard of Oz, a cowardly lion in the Wizard of Oz. Where I was a coward, now I'm beginning to have courage. It's like that's where the masculine is beginning to really ground their energy, is what they're saying, to really ground their energy into that strength, into that courage. They're going through their ascension, and part of the illumination that you experience on your ascension is really understanding who you are. And they've been going through this process of understanding who they're not through the contrast of their experiences. And now it's like they're coming full circle and understanding who they are and who they want to be. And we've been channeling that through different ways of saying it over the past couple of weeks and even the past couple of months. It's part of this illumination process the masculine has been going through. And I feel like it's not just a renewed strength, as in masculine energy. It's a renewed strength as in the self. A lot of solar plexus energy coming through here. A renewed strength as in an understanding of the self, an understanding of who they are at the core, not just the facades that they wore, not just the masks that they carried, not just the burden of who they needed to be or the obligation of what they needed to be or what other people expected them to be. This is really getting down to the nitty gritty. This is really coming down to the core. It reminded me of a reading, and I can't remember which one it was, where we had channeled, this was months ago, we had channeled that the divine masculine was in a cocoon. It was like they were in a womb. And what I was seeing in the womb was, it was a masculine energy, masculine figure that was naked and curled up in the fetal position, like a fetus, and curled up. And in that room, there was a lot of light codes that were swimming around. You know how, like the fluids in the womb and the baby's being born, it was that, but it was light codes. It was like plasma light codes is what they were showing me. And the masculine was being reborn. It was this rebirth energy. This has been their rebirth. Their ascension has been their rebirth. And I feel like they're having a renewed sense of strength and a renewed sense of courage, but it's not coming from anything outside of them anymore. They're not seeking externally. This is something that's coming from inside of themselves. It's like what I'm hearing is the fire has been lit. The fire has been lit within them. They've recognized their own courage. They've recognized their own strength. And what I'm hearing is if they had been in a hermit energy, they needed to do this on their own. Now, they might have had people around them. They might have been in relationships. They might have had family around them. They might have, whatever this is, whatever the situation is, there was some kind of an internal isolation where they felt isolated. They might have been socializing, but there was an internal isolation that was happening. And they realized that they needed to do this on their own to find that inner strength, to find that inner courage, to light that flame within themselves. It couldn't be lit from outside of themselves. They had to find that spark within themselves and nurture that inner spark. That spark is their soul. And this is them getting in touch or having gotten in touch with their soul, which is not something they have been used to. They had been used to ego. They had been used to the masks. They have been used to almost not false presentations of themselves, but yeah, masks, like almost like hiding who their true self was. So even they didn't know themselves to the degree that they're getting to know themselves now. Again, this is part of their ascension, breaking down all those walls, breaking down all those barriers, but it's a barrier to themselves. And that's what the ascension is all about. The ascension is stripping you down to get to know yourself on a soul level. Divine Feminines, you've been through this as well. Now it's the masculine energy that is doing this, that is becoming aware of themselves. And we're actually seeing this in the collective, is what I'm hearing, the global collective. We're actually understanding when we're looking at it through a lens of the global collective, we're seeing a lot of shifts and a lot of changing, and it looks like chaos, it looks like destruction. But what that's actually doing, there's a mass awakening that's happening right now where people are taking a good hard look at themselves and then being forced to take a good hard look at themselves. The old ways of doing things is not working anymore. The old ways of being, the masks, the ego, the unconscious, the shadow self is not working anymore. Cannot operate from the shadows anymore. It's igniting the light within. And it's not a pretty picture when all that is breaking down, right? When the light is shining on the shadow, because it's going to make the ego flare. It's going to make the unconscious come out, right? But again, it has to come out to be recognized, acknowledged, and shifted. That's the only way that it can shift, is if it's acknowledged. And so that's what's happening on a greater scale, but it's also what's happening within the individual as well. So it's stripping down, it's going to the underworld. This doesn't feel like the underworld. This doesn't feel like a heaviness. It doesn't feel like a dark night. It just feels like the almost like the afterbirth. It feels like the rebirth. And it feels raw, it feels vulnerable. This is the process. They've been going through it for months. And with this Lionsgate energy, it is accelerating the process, but not just accelerating the process, it's integrating it, embodying it. This year is all about embodiment. Embodiment for the feminine, and integration, anchoring in an embodiment for the masculine. It is the embodiment. It's the grounding. It's the integration. And so that's what this Lionsgate energy is helping to facilitate. It's helping to facilitate that spark that the masculine has been recognizing in themselves, to facilitate the truth of their soul, the recognition of their soul, not all the masks and the ego and all the performance. And when I say performance, I just mean, the unconscious self. Who do we think we need to be in the world? How do we act in the world? When we are looking externally at ourselves through the lens of other people. Well, now we're turning that upside down. We're flipping the script, and we're connecting with ourselves. We channeled many years ago from the Oracle of Delphi to know yourself. Know thyself. Know yourself. Connecting deeply with yourself. And I mean from the soul perspective is what your ascension journey is all about, because you're connecting with the soul, not with anything else externally, but inside of yourself, connecting deeply, deeply within, recognizing that divinity, recognizing that sacredness, recognizing the holiness of who you truly are. So that's what the Divine Masculine has begun. That process has begun. And this Lionsgate energy is facilitating that, offering a strength, offering a stability. It's a very masculine presence that is here right now. In balance with the feminine, they're saying. The nurturing, supportive energy of the feminine is helping to guide this process. That's why you went first, Divine Feminine. The feminine energy goes first, so to speak, to hold that space, hold that light. But the masculine is going through their process right now and emerging as that sacred self. So it might not look like anything physical. I know, when we do these readings, everybody wants to know what's going on in the physical, but there is an internal process that is happening. Allow the unfolding of that process. It takes time. It takes time to shift who you were. It takes time to recognize and understand who you are. It takes time to connect with yourself. And when I say time, I'm not talking linear time. I just mean the unfolding of a process, the shift in consciousness. So I don't mean time as in days, weeks, months, years. I mean just allowing the process to unfold. Allowing the energetic process of becoming. That's what's occurring right now. So I feel like the masculine is in this process of becoming, as we've been channeling, obviously, and there's this courage, there's this spark that's being lit, and they're recognizing that light and nurturing that light, and it's coming from within. They had to go through this isolation period to understand that about themselves. So over here, the Divine Feminine it's interesting, it's almost like she's resting, she's relaxing, she's not stressed, she's just allowing, she's surrendered. She's not trying to force anything, she's not trying to act on the behalf of the masculine. She is surrendered, she's loving, she's holding that space here. She's holding the lion, which is representative of the masculine, hugging him. There's this tender energy here, this surrendered energy here of, let me just hold you. That's what I'm doing. I'm holding space, is what she's saying. It's a beautiful energy of just this relaxed trust. Again, this energy of trust that's coming through. I trust. Again, the lion can be a very fierce energy. It's a feared energy in the jungle. But here there's this absolute trust, this absolute belief, this absolute surrender. And what you're doing is you're trusting in the energy of what it is that you feel. That's what your faith is. Your faith is an intersection of surrender and acceptance and trust. That is what faith is. And so you're in that place of faith. Now, I'm also getting this energy that feminines, you might have some decisions, you might have some choices with this gateway. And it's not a decision that you are being forced to make. It's a decision that is coming naturally. And what is that decision? Decisions and choices is you focused on yourself. You focused on your life. I don't mean decisions with regards to your connection. I mean decisions with regards to you. What is your next version of your life going to look like? What is your next version of yourself going to look like? Who are you becoming? You're mirroring this energy with the masculine, but from very different angles, different parts of your journey, so to speak. Feminines, I feel like you're walking through a new doorway with a new sense of self-honoring, a new sense of understanding who you are. You have anchored in your inner masculine, which is what I'm hearing. This is your inner union. You have anchored in your inner union, which is the balance, the harmony of the polarities. There is no unconscious, there is no shadow of the masculine versus the feminine. There is light for both. There's a light that is shining on both. And what I mean by that is that it's not pitted against each other. There's harmonious balance between the two, an acceptance, a surrender between the two, a partnership between the two within your own energy field. And that's the peace that you feel, that's the acceptance that you feel, that's the trust that you feel. There's an inner union that's experienced. You might experience this with regards to your connection. I'm talking about you individually, but with regards to your connection, you might feel this no matter what's going on in your physical world. No matter what's experienced in your physical world with your counterpart, there might be no communication. There might be little communication. There might be communication, but there's, no commitment, or there's certain situations or challenges that you're experiencing. We're not talking about your physical world. We're talking about inner union here. Your inner union is what creates your outer world, right? It's what your inner world is what manifests in your physical world. So the union that you're feeling within, that peace that you're feeling, is actually what is guiding you now. And that's the choices that you're making, the new doorway that you're moving through. The peace that you're feeling is now your guide. The harmony that you're feeling within is now your guide. You're not looking to the external to resolve something. You're not looking to the external for closure. You're not looking to the external because you need it. You're not looking to the external to make you whole because you're missing anything or you're lacking anything. You have found that peace within you. You have found that wholeness within you. You are in that state of presence. And in that state of presence, you are not only content, but you're beyond that. You are fulfilled, you are happy, you are joyful. Those are the choices that you're making now. That's the energy now that you're leading from. That's what makes you the empowered creator. You are recognizing that you are empowered. You're not beholden to the past version of yourself. You're not beholden to the last version of your journey where you were, especially with regards to connection. You're not beholden to who you used to be. You're not seeking externally. You are recognizing that you have the ability to create for your life what it is that you want. And that's not about forcing anything, it's not about manipulating anything. It's about recognizing that your energy, that peace, that joy, that high frequency, continuing to remain in that high energy is what continues to attract that to you. That's not to say that there aren't challenges or there aren't obstacles, but your container has grown to such a degree that it doesn't shake you, it doesn't pull your energy down. You recognize there are always infinite solutions, and that those solutions are always presented to you intuitively. You'll always tune into your intuition now to guide you to take those action steps, and that's the union of the masculine and the feminine, right? The feminine energy being that intuition, the masculine energy being the action. So taking that intuitive action, you're always being guided, and you're trusting that guidance. That's the surrender here. It's not that you're not doing anything with your life. It's not that you're in a waiting room. It's that you are in this place of trusting in the unfolding. You're still being guided, but you're trusting that guidance because you're connected to yourself. That's what the masculine is beginning to understand. They're beginning to look at things not from their ego, not just from their mind, but from their intuition, to be led by the heart too. And for you, divine feminines, you apply reason, you apply that practical, logical mindset. That's the masculine too. But you trust your intuition. You can, make pro and con lists, and you can think things through practically and logically. But at the end of the day, you're trusting your intuition. So it's a beautiful gateway for you, divine feminines, because you are recognizing your empowerment. You're recognizing, we did a workshop a couple of weeks ago called the Sacred Union Empowerment Session. Gorgeous messages that came through. We had some amazing exercises that I channeled about recognizing that you're not actually lacking anything. And if you feel like you're lacking anything and you're trying to hold on to something outside of yourself or attain something outside of yourself, keep bringing it back. Keep bringing it back to your empowerment. You're not helpless to this journey. You're not helpless or powerless to your counterpart and the decisions and the choices that they're making. You get to be empowered too. You get to be empowered for your life. You get to make choices for yourself. And that's what this gateway is. It's recognizing yourself as that empowered creator for your life. We've been channeling for years to bring the focus back to yourself. It doesn't mean you're ignoring the world. It doesn't mean you're ignoring your partner. It just means that you are also trusting yourself and where you're being guided. You're not dependent on someone outside of yourself. You're not dependent on the environment or the circumstances or the situations to dictate your actions or to dictate how you feel. You're recognizing that how you feel comes from you and not anything outside of yourself. And so with this new empowered energy, you're walking through this Lion's Gate doorway, this portal, this gateway into a new version of yourself that is that empowered energy. That is that empowered being. And that's where you are manifesting this new life for yourself and even your sacred union. The union that is sacred. The union that is in recognition of how you are treating, honoring, loving, nurturing, choosing yourself. Choosing yourself. Let's talk about that for a minute. It doesn't mean that you are ignoring other people. It doesn't mean that you are pushing anybody away. It just says, it raises your standards and says, this is what I know I want and I need in my life. And anything that is not in that energy, anything that is not in that frequency, anything that is not honoring of that isn't for me. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's a choice to love yourself to such a degree. Not that you're pushing anything away, not that you're building walls. It's just saying, these are my standards for my life. This is what I want for my life. This is what I'm creating for my life. And recognizing that you are worthy of that. That's where you've been empowering yourself. That's where you've been working on your worth and your value. That's where everything is changing for you. And so it's a beautiful energy of just surrender. Surrender, divine surrender. I talk about that in my book. Divine surrender doesn't mean submission. Divine surrender means allowing it to become, allowing it to be, allowing it to unfold. It doesn't take the power away from you. Again, you're not helpless. You're not powerless. You're recognizing yourself as an empowered creator with the universe, working with the universe, creating with the universe, creating with each other. Your counterpart being an aspect of you, being your reflection, being you, that one soul, right? Everybody being a reflection of you, being an aspect of you. You're not working in separation anymore. You're not working in or creating or living in separation. You're living in the union of all things. That's what unity consciousness shows us. That's what the unity code is all about, truly. It's about recognizing the unity of all, the connection, how everything is interconnected. You're walking through that new doorway in a new energy of yourself, in a new version of yourself, a new perspective of yourself, new identity, new understanding, new you. And so that's where everything shifts within your physical world, even with your connection. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull some cards here. And I just love that the Emperor energy, that masculine energy, is just kind of guiding this whole reading. It feels like such a presence. It feels like and that's what masculine energy is. It's presence. It's how do you describe this, the divine masculine energy, the sacred masculine energy? It is a stability, it's a security, it's a presence, it's a regalness, it's a confidence, it's a power. And I don't mean power, I always say this, I don't mean power as in the corrupt version of power that we know it to be. I don't mean regalness in the corruption and the perversion of what we think it to be. I mean, this is presence. do you feel the energy as I'm saying that? What presence really means? It's an anchored in. It's a groundedness. It's a confidence, not in a cocky way, but in a very humble way. An acknowledgement, a recognition. It's beautiful energy. What do we need to know for this Lionsgate for sacred partners? What do we need to know for this Lionsgate for sacred partners? We have the Queen of Wands. I'm going to get a couple of cards here. All this fire energy. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that with Mercury retrograde either. What do we need to know? What do we need to know for this Lionsgate for sacred partners? Temperance and Ace of Pentacles. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands, we have the Ten of Swords, we have Temperance, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this is the clearing out of the old energy. And I feel like the fire energy and the Queen of Wands here, even though it's a Queen of Wands, it's not masculine or feminine energy. It just is. It's just the energy. I'm not getting anything as far as is it masculine, is it feminine, is it king, or is it queen. It's just the energy of the fire. The fire is this purification energy that's coming through. It's burning through anything that cannot stay, and that's where the Ten of Swords is coming through. Clearing anything, ending anything that cannot stay. The fire energy is swift. The fire energy is... it's this phoenix energy. It's just burning anything to the ground metaphorically, symbolically, that cannot stay, that cannot be carried through that doorway, that cannot be carried through that portal, that cannot be carried into the new version of yourself. The Lionsgate is a heightened manifestation portal, but it's also a portal of enhanced spiritual transformation. As we channeled in the workshop, there's a lot of illumination that's coming through, but that illumination isn't just about manifesting. It's not just about manifesting. Manifesting isn't just about what do I want. Manifesting is about the becoming. Who do I want to become? What do I want to see reflected in my world? That's a reflection of me. That's a reflection of my soul. That's a reflection of who I want to be. That's what manifestation is. Manifestation is just alignment of who you are with your physical world. Your physical world aligns to who you are, who you believe yourself to be. And so the Phoenix energy is the destruction, essentially, the burning down, metaphorically, of anything that doesn't serve that version of yourself that you're becoming. And so it's clearing, it's a cleaning house is what I'm getting. It's clearing that energy out. And so there might be endings. And with the Mercury retrograde coming in right now, with this Lionsgate energy and with the new moon as well, what it's actually doing is things from the past that might have been suppressed, that might not have been, cycles that might not have been completed, cycles that might not have been completely cleared, energy that still might be lingering, residual, is coming to the surface. It might be coming to the circus too, yeah. I almost said that. It might feel like that. It might feel like a circus. It might feel, like I said, wibbly wobbly. But it's coming to the surface to be cleared. So you might have old situations, challenges coming up, and it's just showing you who you were. I'll give you an example, a real life example for myself. Like all of a sudden I had medical debt coming back. All of a sudden I had medical bills from years ago. Well, I'll say it like this. Years ago I had a lot of medical debt because I was sick. And so I got hit with a big bill recently. And that almost clinched my nervous system. Like, oh my gosh, like it reminded me of what it was like when I was experiencing all that instability and all that uncertainty and all that, not just the financial, but the health stuff as well. So it was coming up to the surface and it was like, wait a minute, that's not who I am anymore. That version of myself has cleared. Even my circumstances have changed. And so as this bill came up, I allowed myself to feel whatever it was that I was feeling, to acknowledge whatever it was that I was feeling, and to say, it's okay. It's okay. I called who I needed to call, and it was taken care of. The situation actually resolved itself in the most profoundly beautiful way, where I didn't need to worry anymore, because it was a mistake. It wasn't actually anything that I needed to take care of. But it came to the surface, like it came to my attention. It became a situation like that. I should say it like this. That situation was created in my reality because there was still some unresolved energy of fear around health, around illness, around financial instability when it came to medical debt and stuff like that. Like bills and stuff popping up with regards to my health. There were still some unresolved issues that were coming up. And so by acknowledging it, not freaking out, like my nervous system for a second wanted to freak out, and by allowing myself to recognize how my container has expanded, I allowed myself to regulate myself with new tools and resources that I have. I didn't have to sink back into that old cycle. It came up for the clearing. And so that energy released, and I don't feel it anymore. There's no hook there. There's no repetition there. I don't have to repeat those cycles anymore. I don't have to bring that into my reality anymore. So that's actually indicative of the rest of the spread, right? The Temperance card and the Ace of Pentacles. The Temperance card indicative of that healing, indicative of the clearing, indicative of the coming back into harmony with oneself so that a new beginning can take root. This new beginning is you. This new beginning is you. So you might be experiencing that on an individual nature. You might be experiencing that with your sacred union as well, where there is old energy being triggered between partners that's coming up to be resolved, to be looked at, to be acknowledged, to be recognized, to be released, because you can't carry the past with you. So if you're feeling any resentment, any impatience, any lack, any longing, anything from the past with regards to your counterpart connection, it's coming up to be purified. It's coming up to be cleared. It's coming up to be released. That cycle needs to come to a close. And it's an energetic cycle. So not just in the physical, but an energetic cycle needs to come to a close because you can't carry that energy with you anymore. Your new energy doesn't want to. As light codes are coming in, right? New light codes are coming in with this Lionsgate energy. Anything that's still housed in your physical vessel, any of that old energy needs to be cleared. I gave this example where it's like a glass of water That's who we are naturally, that pure energy. But we have experiences and trauma and beliefs and programming, etc., that muddies the water. Well, light codes are coming in. It's like new water is coming in, and what happens is it brings all that muddied water that was kind of down at the bottom of the glass to the surface. But it's clearing it out. It's coming to the surface. It feels chaotic. It might look chaotic, but it's clearing it out. So that's what's happening here. And with the Temperance card, there's this healing, there's this resolution, there's this harmony, there's this balance that's coming through. Because that's what peace is. Peace is that harmony. Peace is that balance. And you achieve that balance, you achieve that peace by allowing yourself to witness and observe anything that comes up to the surface, but not attaching to it. By releasing it without attaching to it. And that's what paves the way for that new future. For physical manifestations. You can't have new if you are still stuck in the old. I use this analogy all the time. You can't bring in new furniture into the house if it's still crowded with the old furniture, right? Because then it's just going to be cluttered. You have to remove the old furniture in order to bring in the new. Well, the same goes for your life. You can't allow for a new job if you're still holding on to the old one. You can't allow for better finances if you're still clinging to lack consciousness. You can't allow for healthier relationships if your energy is still attached to past pain or trauma or hurts or whatever it was with old relationships. So it's all coming up for the clearing. The last thing that they're drawing to my attention is in the workshop we mentioned sacred ceremonies and creating your own sacred ceremony. And something that they brought to my attention was the balance of fire and water. And you're having that here. What they had shared with me, if you want to do a fire ceremony for the Lionsgate, it's all well and good because there's a lot of fire energy with Leo season, obviously, with the Lion's energy. But the energy of Neptune, we've been channeling Neptune for the past couple of months. Water energy has really been coming through in the past couple of readings, the past couple of months. And there's an importance of the water being that purifying energy. The water doesn't put out the fire, but it balances the fire energy. You can also use the earth for this. So doing like a ceremony with the water or the earth is going to be helpful because it's a very grounding energy. It's a very purifying energy. And there's something, even though the fire is very fast acting, the water actually slows it down. It's very fluid. It's very flowing, and it slows down the fire. So it's, and when I say slow it down, not to stop it, but to temper that energy. That's what temperance is. It's tempering the energy so that something new can be created. So there's a lot of purification energy that is coming through right now. Allow for that purification energy to do its job. Don't resist it. Be in that energy of surrender, because that's what's going to create the transformation here. It's creating a transformation within yourself. That's going to create a transformation within your connection. That's going to create a transformation within both masculine and feminines. It's going to create a transformation there. What else do we need to know for this Lionsgate? Knight of Pentacles. I just heard the word self-assurity, which is kind of another way for saying confidence. Being confident in who you are, being self-assured in who you are, knowing who you are, and looking ahead to where you're going as well. Not looking to the past, but being very present and allowing for those new timelines to anchor in and take root. You're not attached to the past anymore, so you're not replaying those old timelines. This is all about the new. You're not looking so far ahead that you're getting lost there, that you're getting stuck there, that you're putting yourself into a place of expectation, obligation, and attachment to the future. You're being very present, but you're also allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to look ahead at what it is that you're creating. But you're not attached to the past for those creations. You're not repeating the past for those creations. This is a new energy, a new you that's coming through here. What does this mean for counterparts? What does this mean for counterparts? Nine of Cups. 2 nines. Interesting. Next month is September. 9 month. So this is a progression. This is a forward movement kind of energy. So I feel like between this 8-8 and this 9-9, rapid movement is what I just heard. Rapid movement, rapid acceleration with regards to your connection, with regards to your own transformation. Depends on where you are in the journey. For some, there might be actual physical movement in connection, communication, understanding, new understandings of each other, new perceptions of each other, new versions that you're calling in. And when I say that, I mean you're not attached to the past versions of yourself, of each other. You're not calling in the past version of each other. This is the growth that you've both been through. This is a transformation that you've both been through. And so, I've always said that your sacred union, the process of that is like you're getting to know each other again. So you're not attached to who you were, but you're getting to know each other in this new conscious version of yourself. Check out the reconciliation and reunion video in my sacred channelings. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description box. But that's what the process of sacred union in physical form, for those who are coming to physical union, that's what it will be. It will be kind of like getting to know each other again, like you're going back to the beginning, right? Going back to the beginning of your journey when you were activated, when you met, but without the heaviness, without the triggers, without the friction, because you were operating in your unconscious state back then. I go deep into that in my book, The Unity Code. If you're interested, it's available for pre-order. I do have copies available in my shop, and it will be available everywhere October 10th. But that's what this feels like. It feels like there's this forward movement, and I feel like between now and 9-9 is what I'm specifically getting, is I feel like there's going to be a huge shift. That shift, again, could be within yourself, or it could be within physical connection. Don't attach to expectation. The way that I teach, the way that's always been channeled to me is not looking at it from the romantic relationship standpoint. This is a journey of ascension. And so it's not about, connection being, oh my gosh, she's going to come in with flowers and declarations of love and all of that. Maybe, but this is mostly a journey of ascension. This is a spiritual connection. This is a spiritual journey. So when we have those expectations, we attach to a fantasized, romanticized version of it. Doesn't mean that romance doesn't exist. Doesn't mean that those dreams and those desires won't come true. But, and I'm not trying to be a realist here. I'm just saying this is what the ascension journey is about. This is what Twin Flames is actually about. It's for you to grow. It's for you to recognize the spiritual aspect of each other, that there is no other, that your counterpart, on the soul level, personality-wise, they might look and seem different. They have their own interests. They have their own lives. But on the soul level, they are you. There is no other. There is no out there. It's all you. It's all part of you. And so there's the union is that recognition of that there is no separation. And so romance, experience romance. That's part of our human experience. Everything that you want to experience, you can experience. If you want to experience romance, if you want to experience committed relationship, if you want to experience living with somebody, if you want to experience family, whatever it is that you want, you can experience that. But when we're talking about sacred partners, I'm not talking about the human experience here. I'm talking about what this means for your soul growth, what this means for your journey, what this means for your ascension, what this means for you. More and more, those messages have been coming through, because that is what the love is about. That is what the unconditional love is about. It's not about the external. We have those human experiences. I'm not denying or negating those human experiences or those desires. I certainly have my own desires. But it's about the spiritual connection, the energetic connection. It's about the love that exists and has always existed. And remembering the love that exists and has always existed, and how profound that is. Love doesn't come about because somebody is bringing you flowers. Love doesn't come about because someone's treating you to dinner. Love doesn't come about because you're having a family with somebody or want a family with somebody. Love, it is and always has been. Period. It just is and always has been. Just like your union is and always have been. You're just removing any of that forgetfulness. You're removing any of that illusion of separation to come back to that realization of we have been and always are. that love. That's where your connection resides. And so I feel like there might be more communication, there might be more movement with regards to your physical connection. But when I'm saying that, I'm not saying it's the romanticized version of what we think movement is. I'm saying it's a deepening of that love for each other, that recognition of each other, that honoring of each other, which is the foundation for all the human experiences, right? That is the foundation for everything that you want to experience. It is a foundation for that romance, for that family, for that adventure, for that commitment, whatever it is. That's the foundation. So release the expectation of what you think the journey needs to be and allow it to be just that love that it is, that unity that it is, that spiritual connection, that energetic connection that it is, and then let it unfold and let yourself see what it becomes in the physical as a reflection of that. Your physical world is always a reflection of you and the energy that you're carrying. And so the more that you're putting energy outside of yourself, out there, of what something needs to be, the more you are focused on the energy within and allowing yourself to live that love, live in that joy, to live in the energy of romancing yourself so that your whole life is romantic in that sense, then you'll begin experiencing that in your physical world. You're not lacking anything. You're not seeking externally for anything. You're not missing anything. It all becomes an experience because it's all you. It's all part of you. So I feel like that's what the Nine of Cups is. It's that fulfillment. It's more than satisfaction. It is fulfillment. It is wholeness. It is joy. It is happiness. And you're not seeking outside of yourself. You've filled up your cups. It is within you. It is abundant. It is overflowing. And so the world has no choice. Your reflection of the universe has no choice to reflect that back to you. All right. Let's do a quick check-in on how you might be perceiving each other, feeling about each other. What's going on with the masculine? How is the masculine experiencing or feeling or perceiving the feminine? What's going on with the masculine right now? What's going on with the masculine right now? Commitment. When I'm seeing this card, given in the context of what we've been channeling here, it's the union, it's the connection, always has been. Don't look at the lack of, oh, they're not committed to me because we're not in a relationship, or we're not talking, or I'm blocked, or this or that. Tune into the energy. It's not about denying what's happening in your physical world. You have to have some level of acceptance of what's experienced in your physical world, right? It's not about living in that delusion. It's about knowing in your heart what is true, and that what is in your heart is real. Knowing that your person is your person, and allowing yourself to hold that space, to hold that love, unconditional love. It's not about putting your life on hold for that to become reality. It's about living in that truth within yourself as you continue to live in your life, as you continue to grow, as you continue to enjoy your life, do whatever it is that you are creating, whatever it is that you're doing. But it's about holding that truth within yourself, that your union isn't always has been. Your union isn't always has been. And I feel like your partner is beginning to understand this, beginning to recognize this, beginning to feel that within themselves. All right, let's keep going. Divine Feminine. So I feel like, especially with the 5 number, I feel like there is this this change in how the masculine is perceiving the feminine, seeing, honoring her, and feeling that deep commitment. And it's because the feminine is deeply committing to herself, deeply committing to her truth, deeply committing to her path, that the masculine is feeling this as well. Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine. How are you feeling, perceiving, or experiencing the Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine. How are you seeing, perceiving? We have spark. Yeah. You look at those two twin flames too. That spark energy. And forgiveness. Yeah. Clearing that energy. Clearing that energy. It's almost like a spark renewed. Remember I said that for the Divine Masculine, like there's a spark that's growing within them? Yeah, you see the effort here, like the watering that, nurturing that spark. I feel like Divine Feminine, there's this healing that is happening for you too. It's clearing out any of that residual energy that still might have a hook in you, that still might be replaying on a loop. You're clearing out that energy because you're becoming something new. You're becoming someone new, a new version of you. And so you're going to shift within yourself. You're going to shift within your journey. You're going to shift even within your connection. And I feel like there's this coming together energy. And that's also why we have this commitment card. It's like this union energy, right? That union happens within yourself first. That union happens energetically first. It's not so much forgiveness, the word forgiveness, as in there's something to forgive. It's this harmony energy, this peace energy that's coming through. That's what this feels like. And I feel like you're mirroring that in each other. I feel like you're both sensing each other. I feel like you're both connecting with each other. It doesn't have to happen in the physical. This is an energetic, spiritual connection. This is a union that is experienced within. Then it reflects in your outside world, right? Then it reflects in a physical counterpart. But you feel that union within. And I feel like that's what's happening here. That spark is being renewed. You're discovering that wholeness with your partner, discovering that wholeness with your counterpart energetically within, not needing them to say something or do something, because you're already sensing that within. You're connected within. Right? If you are having trouble understanding this, we can certainly go into this deeper. I have some new offerings that are coming through over the next month where we'll be going deeper in these topics, deeper in these teachings, deeper in these understandings. You can also check out our workshops, or you can check out more resources in our free resource library in the Ascension Connections portal, where we go much deeper into understanding the energetic components of sacred partners. What are twin flames really? We're redefining the template of what we think it needs to be, what we think it should be, into what it really is. What it really is. All right, and this Lionsgate energy is just opening up all those doors, opening all those doors to this new higher template of love. That's what it is. It's this new higher template of love that you're both recognizing, because you're recognizing that within yourself. You're recognizing it's not outside of yourself. Your union is not outside of yourself. Your person is not outside of yourself. They might be a physical vessel. They might have a physical life. But energetically, they are one with you. Always one with you. There is no separation. And you're beginning to really get that, really understand that. It's not something that they do or they say. You feel them. You're connected with them always within you. You can feel their energy. You can sense them. They're a part of you. That's why you can't get them off your mind. That's why they're always, in the back of your mind. But you release that attachment, that obsessiveness that you might have once felt along the journey, so that it just becomes love, so that it just becomes peace. That is truly what inner union is. That is truly what union is as a whole. Okay. We're going to end this here. Let me know how this is resonating. Let me know how this is landing. And stay tuned for the Lionsgate highlights tomorrow, and many more announcements. Sending lots of love and lots of light. We'll see you soon.